Hi, this is Matt Bianca, and welcome to the Sutra Pills podcast. This is the place to listen to some teachings from original Buddhist sutras. A sutra a day keeps the dukkha away.
Let's talk about Anatman-Laksana Sutra. Anatma, or anatta in Pali, which most of you will be familiar with this term, anatta, means no self. And Laksana means definition or labeling. You can find this sutra in Samyutta Nikaya 22.59. And it's called informally the second discourse of Gautama, of course. Before moving on to illustrating the sutra, we must add a premise with the hope that will clarify our understanding. Linguistically, translating anatma has often led to a terminological confusion. The prefix a, or a in English, means not, therefore an antonym, the opposite of the prefix word. Since anatma begins with a vowel, the letter a or a becomes an. That's why it is anatman. Usually, atma or atman is translated into spirit, soul, living, or self. We will use for simplification the word self, since herein lies one of the fundamental differences between Buddhism and the Hindu Vedas, the acceptance of a kind of soul, in Hindu of course. Original Buddhism rejects this thesis, as can be seen from this sutra. So, anatman, so a, not atman, the soul, the spirit, living, whatever you want to think or believe it, it's very difficult to translate this concept because it's so westernized. Gautama did not teach that there is no ego, but that the point of view of the ego is rooted in impermanence, so we must let go of all of these points of view. This is the exactly opposite of what the Vedas say, the ancient text upon which Hinduism developed. Even if Buddhism derives from Hinduism, there are four statements cannot be derived from the Indian culture of his time. Number one, the principle of conditioning production, or as a more familiar term, dependent origination. Even if I don't like it, I prefer conditioned production, is quite closer to the original meaning. Number two, the process of the Four Noble Truths. You don't find this in Veda, in Hinduism. Number three, the practice of mindful awareness. So mindful awareness. We are not talking about the simple concept of meditation, but the mindful awareness, very different. And the last, number four, the power of self-reliance. So we don't rely to a supposed God or spirit or superior being. So those frames Gautama's vision of a new kind of culture and society. Gautama did not intend to found a new religion, but a new civilization. Is a very big difference, this. The various forms of the Buddhist religion we know today are the remnants of a civilization that failed to take root in India. Anatman, the not self, requires a continuous process of ego creation, or presumption of it, to continue to be alive. What is perceived as a self is a self-referential personality, ego that arises from certain conditions. Which condition? But of course the 12 bonds of conditioned production, the 12 nidana, the 12 causal links, but is not the topic of today's sutra. It's an exposition of the interdependence of conditioned phenomena, and it's considering the essence of the Buddhist view. It's famously exemplified in this excerpt. When there is this, that comes to be. With the arising of this, that arises. When there is not this, that does not come to be. With the cessation of this, that ceases. That is coming from another sutra, but is really strongly related. If you're curious about this sutra, is a Kula Sako Kuludayo Sutra in Majjhima Nikaya 32. But let's come back on our today's sutra. Also in Varanasi, Gautama says, the form is not self. This form would not lead to any suffering. One could have any desired form and free from any stress. However, since the form is not self, it will lead to suffering, and no one can have the form they want. So the stress remains. As you can see, we enter into one of the most difficult Buddhist concepts to understand. The statement itself is a contradiction in terms. Gautama goes on to explain the 5 aggregates, or so-called skanda, or kanda in Sanskrit. So the word will be, how we call this 5 aggregate, they call Panchupadanaka kanda, or just Panchaskanda. Understanding them means understanding an Atman, which is a transitory combination of these 5 elements that I will explain you now. So form or materiality, called Rupa, feeling or sensation, Vedana, which is is not precise translation, but that's what we get when we translate in English. Perception, Samjina, thoughts or mental formation, Sankara. As I say, like in a previous sutra, it's not Samkara, it's Sankara, 2 different concepts. And the last one, awareness or consciousness, Vijnana. And he asked his disciples, in your opinion, are these aggregates permanent or impermanent? Impermanent was their answer. And then what is impermanent? Is pleasant or painful? Painful, of course, answered the usual 5 that follow Gautama. And Gautama say again, so what is impermanent and painful, and therefore subject to continuous change, can be circumscribed by simple statement like this is mine, this is I, this is myself? You can imagine the answer of these 5. He continues, so with a fair understanding, we must affirm that 5 aggregates are not mine, they are not I, they are not myself. So when we feel a sense of estrangement from form, sensation, perception, mental construction, and consciousness, the passion dissolves. And so we can call ourselves liberated. The integrated life has been lived. What is done is done. Beyond that, there is nothing else. In many translations in different languages, integrated life is translated as holy life. But Siddhartha Gautama did not intend to found a new religion. The term integrated refers to the integration and inclusion of the Noble Eightfold Path in everyone's life to become awakened. Overall, the main concept of this sutra is the 5 aggregates. The 5 aggregates are not an easy concept to grasp. Let me try to explain them with some examples. Rupa is like seeing a physical object, such a chair, for example. Vedana is seeing a comfortable chair after a long tiring day may lead to a sense of happiness. So it's the part of experience that can be pleasant and or painful and or neutral. Then we have Samjina, which is recognized that chair through experience of using them before. So it's the part of experience that can be true or false. And number 4, we have Sankara, that is creating an opinion about the chair in relation to other chairs experienced previously. Sankara is a capacious category, including volition and various emotions. The last point is Vijnana, is being aware of things in the world, such as a chair. Vijnana, that is a difficult concept to grasp, bear with me. Vijnana is the union of content with mental activity that has content. So it's a continued activity, Vijnana. So we can think of them like our 5 senses intermingles with our mind.
This has been the Sutra Pills podcast, and I am Matt Bianca. Thank you to be here and listen to me. Comments are really appreciated. Whatever you want to tell me, just make a comment, even a bad one. Of course, the most important, may you be well, may you be happy, may you be free from suffering. Bye for now.